Dear students, today I am going to explain you about the Gnostic movement. About the Gnostic movement. This is also known as the movements of variation. This is also known as movements of variation. This is also known as movements of variation. Last time I explained you, plant movements are occurring because of the external stimulus. When movements occur because of the external stimulus, that is known as the paratonic movement. That is known as the paratonic movement. Because of the external stimulus, that is known as the paratonic movement. So, on the basis of what? Whether stimulus is unilateral, whether stimulus is unidirectional. When stimulus is external stimulus is unidirectional, that is the tactic movement. When external stimulus is unilateral, that is the tropic movement. I explained about the phototropism and geotropism during last lecture. And third kind of movement because of the external stimulus, but that stimulus is diffuse. That stimulus is what? The diffuse type. The stimulus is diffuse type. Means external stimulus will be in all the directions. That is known as what? The Gnostic movements or the movements of variation. So on the basis of external stimulus, that must be the diffuse type. That stimulus must be the diffuse type. So whether external stimulus is what? The light. So that is the photognostic movement. When external stimulus is light, that is the photognostic movement. But this external stimulus will be in all the directions. That is known as the photognostic movement. When suppose external stimulus is what? When external stimulus is supposed to be the temperature. So that is the thermognostic movement. That is what? The thermognostic movement. When external stimulus is what? The temperature. When external stimulus is temperature, that is the thermognostic movement. So thermognostic movement, I can give the example. The thermognostic movement is best shown by the flowers of the tulip. For the opening of the flowers in tulip, it requires a particular temperature. In that particular temperature, the flowers get open. The example of photognostic movement, here the movement is diffuse, means in all directions. When external stimulus is unidirectional, that is the tactic movement. When external stimulus is what? The unilateral, that is the tropic movement. I explained you about the phototropism and the geotropism. And when the external stimulus is what? When external stimulus is diffuse type, means in all directions, that is known as the Gnostic movements or the movements of variation. When external stimulus is supposed to be the light, that is the photognostic movement. In presence of light, flowers opens, followed, and during night the flowers get closed. For example, in Nicotiana, the flowers get closed during daytime and flowers remains open during the night. So that is photognostic movement, where the external stimulus is light. Or suppose the closing of the leaves during night, or closing of the opening of the leaves during daytime. For example, the oxalis, the leaf of the oxalis get, or the flower of the oxalis get open during daytime and get closed during night. So that is the photognostic movement. Thermognostic movement means what? Where the external stimulus is temperature, the flower get closed when temperature is low, and when flower get open when temperature is supposed to be high, a particular range of temperature is required. That is the thermognostic movements occurring in the tulip, in the flowers of the tulip. Then what? The photognostic movement, that is where the external stimulus is light, the temperature, particular temperature is required, that is the thermognostic movement. Then Gnostic movement is also shown. For example, the epignostic movements means what? The epignostic movement. Some shows the epignostic movement and some shows the hypognostic movement. Again, on the basis of what? On the basis of the external stimulus. When the growth occurring on the, for example, the drooping of the flower, the drooping of the bud or the drooping of the flower, it is because of the epignostic movement, the drooping of the flower. For example, if there is a more growth on the upper surface, when there is a more growth on the upper surface, that is the epinostic movement. Then if there is a more growth on the lower surface, when there is a more growth on the lower surface, that is the hyponostic movement. So it is best shown by the flower buds or the flowers of what the poppy, where because of the epinostic movement there is a bending of the flower. The flower gets bent, the flower bud gets bent because of the epinostic movement. Epinostic movement means what? Whenever there is a growth on the upper surface. It is also shown the hyponostic movement. In poppy, the flowers remains upright. When it becomes upright, when there is a hyponostic movement. Hyponostic movement means the movements at the lower surface. When the movements occurs, when the growth occurs on the lower surface, that leads to the hyponostic movement, and when growth occurs on the upper surface, that is the epinostic movement. Then another kind of the movement, that is the seismolastic movement, shown by the plant. What is seismolastic movement? Seismolastic movements, when movements occurring because of the shock or the touch. What is seismolastic movement? Seismolastic movement means what? Seismolastic movement means the movement occurring because of the shock, where no doubt the external stimulus is what? External stimulus is the diffuse type. It means in all directions. When the external stimulus is touch or the shock, when external stimulus is touch or the shock, that is responsible for the movement. That movement is called as the seismolastic movement, or this is also known as the heptonostic movement. It is the heptonostic movement or the seismolastic movement where external stimulus is shock, where the external stimulus is shock. Follow? Where external stimulus is shock, that is the seismolastic movement or the heptonostic movement. It is best shown. The seismolastic movement is shown by a plant. It is shown in the plant, that is Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica. In this plant, the seismolastic movement is shown. Seismolastic movements means what? The bending of the leaflets or the drooping of the entire leaf. Leaf get closed. Then we touch to the pin. It is shown in the Mimosa pudica. This is the this is the herbaceous plant, perennial herbaceous plant, where you get the bipinnate compound leaves. Where you get the bipinnate compound leaf. Here here we get the bipinnate compound leaf. When we touch to the pinnules, the pinnule get closed. When we touch to the pinnule, the pinnule get closed like this. When we touch to the pinnule, suppose the pinnule which is present at the tip, and when we touch to the pinnule, because of the shock, the pinnule get closed. And when suppose the external stimulus is strong, you continuously putting the finger or you are touching to the pinnule, continuously touching. When the stimulus is strong, then the entire leaf get drooped up. So drooping of the leaf or the closing of the pinnule is because of the touch stimulus, or because of the touch stimulus, or because of the shock stimulus. That is known as the seismolastic movement. That is known as what? The seismolastic movement. When the stimulus is fast, it can conduct through the stimulus. Because of the external stimulus, it is responsible to synthesize a particular hormone. That hormone get conducted through the xylem, and the speed of the conduction of the hormone may be in 1 second, it may run up to 20 centimeters. You can imagine, in 1 second, the 20 centimeter stimulus can be conducted. That hormone can be conducted. So that is responsible the closing of the pinnule or the drooping of the entire leaf. That is the seismolastic movement because of the touch. The physiological reason is there. Because of the shock stimulus or because of this touch stimulus, a particular hormone is synthesized and that hormone get conducted through the xylem and pinule get cut. Pinule get closed or entire leaf get drooped down. So we call it the sensitive plant. The Mimosa pudica is the sensitive plant because after touching to the pinule or after touching to the leaf, the entire leaf get drooped down. Now we see what is physiological reason behind it? Why leaflet or the leaf get drooped down or why it close? The physiological reason is there because of the differentiation in the osmotic pressure in the cell, in the lower half and in the upper half. Here in Mimosa pudica, the petiole is solar. In Mimosa pudica, the petiole is solar. That is a pulvinus. Leaflet also has the stalk, followed, and that is solan one, that is known as the pulvinus. And leaf has the stalk, which is a solan one. The petiole, the leaf has the petiole, and that is a pulvinus one. Pulvinus means the solan one. Why? What is physiological reason is there? Why leaflet get closed down? The physiological reason is there. The petiole is pulvinus and it is divided into two half. It is divisible into two half. This is upper half. This is the upper half. This is upper half and this is the lower half. This is upper half and this is the lower half. As far as the cellular differentiation is concerned, here at the lower half, the cells, large number of intercellular spaces there. At the lower half, large number of intercellular spaces. The cells are thin walled and large number of intercellular spaces are there. And at the upper half, the less number of intercellular spaces and the cells are thick walled. At the upper half, the less number of intercellular spaces are there. Both the half having the parenchymatous cells. You see how cellular differentiation is there. In the petiole of the leaf of Mimosa pudica, the petiole is pulvinus, it is a solar, it is divisible into two half, the upper half and the lower half, and cellular differentiation is there. At upper part, we will get the thick walled cells and less number of intercellular spaces. At the lower half, you get the lower half, large number of intercellular spaces are there and the cells are thin walled. In both the half, you get the parenchymatous tissue. Follow? What will happen when we touch to the pinule? That stimulus, external stimulus conducted towards it runs towards the petiole of the leaflet or petiole of the entire leaf. What will happen? It lowers the what? It lowers the turgor pressure, osmotic pressure. It lowers the initially before touching, both the half. In both the half, the cells are fully turgid. In upper half as well as in lower half, the cells are fully turgid. When we touch to the pinule, that stimulus get shock stimulus or touch stimulus get conducted towards the pinule, so that in the lower half the osmotic pressure gets lower, it decreases, and whatever water is there, the water will be moved out in the intercellular spaces, and the cells in the lower half becomes the flaccid. The cells in the lower half become the flaccid. When we touch to the pinule, that stimulus conducted at the lower half of the pinule, and because of the touch stimulus, the osmotic pressure gets lower, and all the cells, whatever water is there in the cell, that water exit out in the intercellular spaces, and the cells become flaccid. Initially, both the cells from both the half were fully turgid, but after touching, the whatever cells, parenchymatous cells are there, these cells becomes flaccid because water comes out in the intercellular spaces, and so that the pressure develops. Because at the upper half the cells are thick walled, less number of intercellular spaces are there. These cells are turgid. Turgid means they are full of water. The lower half becomes flaccid. The cells from the lower half become flaccid. It creates a pressure on the lower half, the pressure of the upper half, and so that the leaflet get bent or leaflet get closed. This is the reason. This is the reason the leaflet or the pin will get closed, and if the stimulus is strong, the entire leaf get droop down. The entire leaf get droop down. Only fine. Entire leaf get droop down. So this is the seismoelastic movement. This is the seismoelastic movement because of what? Because of the shock. Shock is the stimulus. So the seismoelastic movement because of the external stimulus, that is the shock stimulus, where the stimulus is in all direction. It is a diffuse type, and so that the in mimosa pudica the leaf get drooped down when we touch the pin, and if the stimulus is strong, the entire leaf get drooped down. So this is the seismoelastic movement. This is what the seismoelastic movement or the heptonastic movement, which is a type of the nastic movement. Nastic movement, in nastic movement there is a epinastic movement, hyponastic movement, thermonastic movement because of the higher temperature, photonastic movement, hello, and the thermonastic movement, epinastic, and the nastic movement. Nastic movement is because of the stimulus, external stimulus, which is a diffuse type, and that is the shock or the touch stimulus. So this was all regarding the nastic movement. So here I have finished this topic, that is the plant movements, and it is very important as far as the theory examination is concerned. Sometimes the nastic movement can be asked in the theory examination. So thank you very much. Hello, hello, sir.